everybody. Josh from Honda, Josh from Project Hondarod, coming at you once again. Today we are going to be doing some of this. Cutting, grinding, not welding yet. But I'm going to pull the front clip off here and investigate the foot box that we were looking at last night. I'm trying to get a little bit more foot room. Right now I run a Willwood triple pedal assembly. Sorry, I'm setting up another camera while we're at it here. There we go. So I'm looking at a Willwood triple pedal assembly in the foot box of the car right now, and it's a little tight just because of the shape of the car. I don't have a ton of the foot room. And so we're going to take the front clip off and kind of investigate the inner workings of the chassis and try to figure out a way to get some more foot room. So hang on, stay tuned, and let's get ready to rumble. Let's get this party started, right? That's how we say it. One of my homeboys, shout out Dan the Man, a Colorado homie. Let's get this party started. So this car is 100% modular. I will not stop talking about that. The doors come off, the quarter panels each come off, and the front clip also comes off. So I did that just for serviceability of the vehicle and future upgrades, and we are at that stage of future upgrading right now. So once the grill is off here, there were 3 bolts running down to the main chassis tube that holds the front end of the fiberglass together. The 3 bolts on the top here hold it in the middle. Just like so. And then I've got a pair of hood pins on the bottom that hold the bottom sides of the body on. So what's going to happen is this whole thing's going to come right off, or at least it should, in theory. That's how I planned it out, at least. I think what I'm going to do to make things easy here is I'm going to grab a couple small pieces of wood or cardboard or something and help put that behind the hood pin there, just to make sure that it doesn't get caught up while I'm removing the front end. Ray Built GT, how you doing? Hi. Ren Build, sorry, I said that wrong. So anyway, I got a couple pieces of cardboard here. We're going to throw this behind the hood pin area just so this comes off real nice and easy. I do have a couple headlight connectors, quick disconnects that I got to pull off quick too. And then we don't need this. That's just a hood support. So where is my quick disconnects here? Or not so quick disconnects? No, they came right off. So I've just got little trailer light wiring harness plugs for the front turn signal markers down here. And those are just off a universal motorcycle setup, so nothing crazy fancy. And if I remember right, these do come off with the body, so this may be a little weird looking to you guys here, but let's see what happens. Yep, stage 1, we're free. Like I said, I did design this to be modular, so in theory this should come right off. Just like so. And right now I'm going to put the whole front end right next to the car. There you go. When's the last time you saw a front end come off that easy, huh? That's the way it's done, guys. That's the way it's done. Privyet. Happy Saturday. Boy, it's been a long time since we've had the front end off the car. See, we've got all kinds of wash residue hanging out all over the place here underneath the windshield frame. Interesting to see how that's aged. Got some sanding dust. I'm working on sanding the body out. We're going to be putting a paint job on the car. So, but yeah, this is what she looks like all apart. I do have a Honda Civic EG style chassis radiator in the front. These are motorcycle front suspension headlight buckets. I run the Skunk 2 Pro ST coilovers. I custom built the upper and lower control arms. These use QA1 rod ends and ball joints on the outside. The rack is out of a Mustang 2 and it's been slightly narrowed. Tie rod ends are off of like a Dodge Caravan, like a Mustang, just for fitment. The car runs Mustang 2 drop spindles in the front and Chrysler style brake setup. It does use GM metric like Monte Carlo brake calipers in the front. So that's all 5x114 standard 4-bolt pattern or Nissan 350Z, whatever. Like I said, we have a RCI. I'm going to grab the setup here a little bit. This is not a race car. This is a daily. This is actually a street car. I do autocross it on occasion, but it was set up for street. Oops, sorry. I got the camera set up on a gimbal here, so we're trying to improve our video process here a little bit. Yes, it is 100% street legal in Minnesota, at least. I don't know if it is 50 state legal. Probably California might have a couple problems with it, but it is fully registered and insured as a 1933 Hondarod because this is a Honda power car. And I'm going to just take the phone off the mount here for a second. Excuse me. So if you guys haven't seen this before, the car is a mid-engine car using a Honda D15B VTEC from Japan. And then it uses a Honda D17 transmission, which is cable shifted and hydraulic clutch setup. So the engine will be coming out very soon. This is getting replaced with a Honda Prelude H22A. How girls like on this car? The ladies like the car, put it that way, yes. The cool thing about this car is it's 100% hand built by myself, 100% scratch made. And so this is all fiberglass. The whole body is all fiberglass. The doors, the trunk lid, everything. So I'm literally able to take a closed fist and no damage. I can do that all the time. So I built the car to be a hammer. I built it to get beat on. I built it to drive the living tar out of it. And over 4.5 years, this has almost 40,000 miles on it now. So it's wear pretty well considering the amount of abuse I've put it through. It's the prototype. The game plan has always been to build this as a kit car production kind of thing. And yeah, so if you're interested in building a Honda powered hot rod, let me know. I would love to build version 2 of this and have more of these on the road because they are smiles per mile fun. This is just ridiculous around the back roads. And that's even with the small little engine in the back. Once I get some horsepower behind this, it's going to be a monster. So the area that we're dealing with today is this area right here. This is my foot box area. So got my steering column coming through there in the firewall, but this is the foot box area. And what's going to happen is I'm going to cut this out. I hate to do that. I mean, I hate to do it, but I need to do it. And the reason why is down here in the foot box, You can see we got the Willwood triple pedal assembly down there. And I don't have a whole ton of foot room on the side there. So I need to cut this out, unfortunately. So it is what it is. The car's in the shop. Like I said, we're doing a motor swap. We're doing body work. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So right now is the time. And I think I can literally run an air saw right across there and just cut this section out of the foot box here, and then that should give me enough room to get a foot pedal in there. You want to drive it? Hey, if you're in Minnesota, if you're ever visiting Minnesota, I will key toss. This car has had a lot of drivers behind the seat. It's taught a few friends how to drive a manual transmission. I will key toss anybody at this point. That might not be true once the engine's done. It might be too fast to just let somebody drive, but I'm open to it. If you want to drive it, let me know. It can happen. It can be arranged. So the car weighs 1,900 pounds right now. It makes about 130 horsepower. So it's not a rocket ship. Oh, sorry. Trying to get my camera rig set back up. Apparently it doesn't like the fact I just disconnected it. There we go. Sorry. Trying to play around with this gimbal. I got a DJI Osmo 3, I believe is what this is. Gimbal. So I don't have all the fancy technology bits figured out yet. I'm still working on that. That's kind of going to be a progression during this build series of learning GoPros and learning gimbals and learning how to do better video editing. So I appreciate the support, everybody. And I'm going to take off one hose here I got in the way. I can already see that. I think I'm also going to take my gimbal off the mount here and bring you guys with. If I can find my drill. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I very much appreciate it. This car is literally a dream come true. It took a long time designing it and then building it. Took about 2 years. And again, it was only me building it. So the fact that I've been able to build my own car and drive my own car and go to all the hot rod shows, go to all the import tuner car shows, do some racing, it's literally a dream come true. So I highly, highly, highly recommend building your own car. It's a really fun experience. Okay, so I got the gimbal. How you call this car? I call it Project Hondarod, is what it's called, or just Hondarod for short. Either one, Hondarod or Project Hondarod. It's registered as a 1933 Hondarod, actually. So, there we go. Get our camera set up. Kind of sort of where we're going to be doing our work here, right? That's the goal. There we go. So you can kind of see a good shot. We'll back this up just a little bit so you can see more of the front end. There we go. That's better. Get some chassis tubing. I tried to keep everything as simple as possible when I built the car. I don't have a huge fancy shop. I have worked at a number of very fancy, well-equipped shops that have all the CNC tools and tubing benders and all that kind of jazz. This is just my art project that I built in the garage. So tool selection was fairly limited, you know, compared to a big production shop. But you can see everything is fairly straightforward. Some angle cuts here and there, but you know we're dealing with 2x2 square tube everywhere, and there are a lot of diagonals here and there around the chassis, going through the bulkheads and going through the back section and underneath the car. But for the most part, 2x2 is very, very, very easy to use. It cuts relatively easy. You can weld things up, square things up, boom, 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 and for the most part, nobody sees it unless the body is off. So the fact that you guys get to see it naked is pretty cool. So I'm going to try to keep the volume down on this. I got an air compressor that's pretty loud when it's running. And so I'm going to try to keep the volume down on this. I got a couple drills, and I do have an electric saw that I'm going to try to cut this with, and it may or may not work. We'll see what happens. So I think the tool that we're going to start out with, and it may, like I said, it may or may not work, is a very inexpensive Harbor Freight electric body saw. I've never seen a better brand make one of these before, so I bought a couple of them to try them out, and I've burned up a few, but they cut. You know, it's not the best tool in the world. If that doesn't work, then we come back and we use our Matco air saw, and this cuts like butter. Thank you. Have a great day. Go check out Big Boys, Big Toys in Moscow if you haven't. They're my homies. Say hi to Vladimir. They got all sorts of cool muscle cars, hot rods. They're pretty sweet. So yeah, if you're looking for a really good air saw, there is no better air saw on the market than the Matco. This is the MT2215. I've had this bad boy for about 15 years, and this is the best air saw on the market, period. I don't care what you're comparing it to, whether it's an Ingersoll Rand, whether it's a Snap-on, Blue Point, whatever. The Matco air saw beats everybody hands down. But for right now, we're going to use the Harbor Freight Special and see how that goes first. Like I said, it may or may not work. Trying to get a extension cable over here for all you guys. Get our fancy dancy drill out. We're going to drill a couple pilot holes here and then try to use that air saw to cut that sheet metal open. I'm going to try to get a different bit. This might be a little bit big to start with. Okay, so I know, because I can see where the chassis is, the floor is technically about 2 inches lower than where the frame rail is here. And I think I'm going to start by cutting right across there, and then coming up however tall. I guess I could use my shoe as a reference, right? I mean, that's the way to do it. I'm right on it right there. Okay. All right, I guess I can mark a line and see where we're going to go here. I think about here is how high up we're going to end up cutting based on eyeballing it up. That should be more than enough. Should be more than enough height right there. Beautiful. I think I'm going to grab a Sharpie marker or some sort of a scratch awl here. Berkdahl special. What am I doing to my car? Got the world famous Bo Berkdahl in the house. Can't hear much of anything I'm saying. Okay, well, good thing I haven't been saying a whole lot. What I'm doing is I'm cutting out the area right here. And I'm trying to make more foot box room because when we go inside of the car, I'll bring you along here for just a second here. I got a fancy gimbal, so excuse my options. That's not working very good. There we go. So inside the foot box here where I have the Willwood triple pedal assembly. Come on, gimbal. Let's go. Got it. So I got my Willwood triple pedal assembly here. I just don't have a lot of foot room on the side, so I don't really have like a dead pedal area for my foot to rest when I'm cruising around. And I really, really, really need that. I don't want to say it's uncomfortable, but it's definitely not optimal. So what I'm going to do is basically chop that section of sheet metal out and then try to basically bring that whole foot box area out to the outside of the frame rail here, I think is the game plan. And hopefully I have enough foot room going out. Well, it looks like about 2 inches is kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to have. So we'll get you guys set back up here, and I'm going to see what happens with this air saw. Like I said, I'm not sure that this air saw is actually going to cut the mustard, but we're going to try. Check out that camera angle, huh? This gimbal is coming in handy. Almost looks like a pro videographer at this point, huh? Or something like that, right? I'm kind of dual filming right now. I've got a GoPro running as well, so we're going to try to step up the video game, you know? Still don't know how the heck I'm going to edit it, but no, I do have a couple of video editors that have been asking to do some work with me, and I think that this is a good opportunity to give them a shot. I'm going to get pretty fancy here. Saw blades work good in those saws. Yeah, they do. They sure do. So I was just telling everybody about, I've got a Matco air saw that's about the best air saw in the world. Well, it is the best air saw in the world. But then I also have this $20 electric Harbor Freight one. And this thing, I mean, It's not the best, it's not ideal, but it cuts. So we might do a head-to-head comparison here. I'm just trying not to run the air compressor all day long, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens here. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna just grab a quick line here with our fancy paint stick straight edge. We're getting really high tech here in the Grey Duck lab. All right, that's not working terrible, but I am going to let the blue smoke out of the saw. Yeah, I will. I'm going to get a couple new air saw blades. Well, have you ever seen a car with the front end off before? Or is this the first time you've ever actually seen the car naked? That's what she looks like. I'm going to get some air saw blades. Front clip came off, one shot, easy cheesy. All right, I've got a bunch of air saw blades. So these are fine air saw blades as opposed to coarse air saw blades, which may or may not be a good idea. We'll find out in a minute here. That is not the right size. Let's try this size. And that is also not the right size. Okay, sorry, I grabbed the wrong set of wrenches here, I guess. We'll get that taken care of here momentarily. These live streams that I'm doing are just going to be kind of for fun. There's a lot of stuff that's happening off camera that I'm kind of doing the video log on with the GoPros and filming with the cameras and stuff like that you guys will see at a later date. So if you're watching the live streams, boy, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. All the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, all that kind of fun jazz. It means the world to me, so thank you so much. Especially considering when I do these lives, I'm generally unprepared to actually do the video filming. So this is very, very homebrew. It's very real. There's no editing. There's no fake. There's no doing it for the gram or the TikTok or anything like that. This is just real deal shop life. Real action. it's kind of the honest truth about building a hot rod or a race car or anything for that matter. When you're building stuff, there's definitely moments where you're working, and it's nonstop work. And then there are moments where you really have to look at what you're doing, reflect on things, go search for tools, you know, that kind of fun jazz. Hacksaw blades. I don't have any hacksaw blades in stock. So we're just going to have to make do with what we have. And what we have are air saw blades. All right, sorry about the noise again. Gonna get a little loud for a moment. Hold on 2 seconds. I have something fancy that I can be using. Of course, it's covered in dust and dirt right now, but this is a dry lube for air saw blades and metal cutting saws. So you simply drop it on the floor. No, you gunk up the blade with that a little bit. It helps lubricate, and the blade life lasts a little bit longer, and it should cut a little bit smoother too. Let's hope it does anyway, right? Come on. Well, that didn't work too terrible. I'm going to call that a win. I am going to change air saw blades out very, very regularly here because they are cheap, and we're going to keep it nice and sharp. I'm going to try to not make this take 3 hours to cut through this panel. I do have power tools, you know, angle grinders and stuff like that, but I'm not trying to throw sparks all over the place right now. I still do have a gas tank in here, so at this point, you know, being safer is better than being sorrier, if you know what I mean. And air saw blades are pretty safe. There we go. Give me a second here. I'm going to throw the phone charger on real quick, just to make sure that we don't kill our live stream. And I'm going to have to move the phone back, the charger, the stand back just a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. All right, then we're going to take some of that Firefox cutting lube. Easy cheesy, just like so. Boop, boop, just like that. And I think we're going to go across on the bottom side here. probably should have brought over a real Sawzall, but you know, shop life. It's all good. Like I said, we got plenty of airsaw blades, so we're just going to keep swapping them out whenever I need to swap them out. Keep them fresh, right? One thing that you don't want to do when you're building hot rods is try to keep track of stuff like that. If you're paying attention to how much money you spend in airsaw blades, you shouldn't be building a hot rod, put it that way. Pretty close to the second cut. What I might do is put a third cut on the front edge and just see what happens when I bend that metal out. I might not need to cut that fourth side. It might not need to come completely out. That's not clamped in there very tight enough. That is the one really crappy thing about this Harbor Freight electric air saw or electric sawzall, body saw, whatever they want to call it. The blade does not want to stay in the holder. It should have definitely used a better hardware system. Somebody needs to make one of these electric. Milwaukee, Snap-on, Blue Point, anybody that is watching, please make me a body saw that runs on 110 that actually works, like the way it should. All right, number 2, we're good. All right, one more. This one's going to be, I want to say a little bit trickier. I am going to get a nice straight edge. I am right on the edge of where my front 2x2 is mounted right there. So where I'm cutting, I need to make sure I clear that front tube because I can't go past that. And for right now's purpose, we're not trying to be hyper precise, so I'm just going to grab a quick line here. And yes, you're seeing me use a screwdriver and a level to do that. So, like I said, we're not trying to go crazy on this. Whatever works, works. Sometimes it's fancy, sometimes it doesn't have to be. That's totally fine. Totally fine. For anybody still watching, thank you for bearing with that. That was a painful experience. That took a little bit longer than I hoped, but you know, we're not in a rush. We got plenty of time. We can be patient. We can, you know, and we can take our time. And you know what? I didn't even need to break out the good air saw. $25 air saw. I got 3 cuts. This just paid for itself by, you know, with one use. If you're a guy that doesn't have a fancy air saw or sawzall or stuff like that, go to Harbor Freight, get an electric body saw. It will work. It's good enough. It'll totally be fine. And he'll do a good enough job. It'll totally be good enough to go. So I think what I'm going to try to do is literally pull this flap we got here out. There we go. So that's about the maximum amount of room that I'm going to be able to get in terms of where I want this to live. I know the body, this isn't exactly super close, but I don't want it to be any further than about that. So now here's the question. Did it work? Did it work? Am I going to end up with enough room? Oh, that was weird. The phone is all over the place here. Let's see if we can get recentered again. There we go. All right, we're back. We're back. Let's see. These gimbal things, I tell you. Come on, guys. What are we doing here, phone? There we go. I suppose if I had auto tracking turned on and all the fancy features, it would probably work out a little better, right? But anyway, let's hop into the car here. Get you guys set up here. Oh, I don't have very good light. All right, well, let's just see what happens here. We'll try to... You can see that hole that I just cut. Let's see if that's actually going to work. Oh boy, it's close. It's really close. Not quite there yet, though. Not quite there yet. I might need to move the pedals over just a tiny bit more. Or actually get this sheet metal out of here. It's not quite enough room for where I want my foot. You can see I still got a little bit on the bottom there too to cut out. I don't know if that's going to be necessary to cut all that out, but we'll figure that out here in a second. But it's closer. I mean, you can see what I'm after here in terms of, maybe you can't quite see. There we go. You can kind of see what I'm after here in terms of where that pedal sits. I'd love to be able to put my foot next to it in a more comfortable position. So, okay, let's see what happens here, right? I guess we are going to make one more cut. Kind of curious if we're going to need to make that last one, and it looks like we are going to. So I'm going to set you guys down here. I'm going to set you right on the tire. There you go. How's that look? Pretty darn good. That's a good viewing angle right there. Why didn't I do that earlier? Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Let's see if I can set up my other camera real quick here and do a little time-lapse video. That may or may not stay put there. This whole camera rigging thing is a little bit new to me. I'm still trying to get used to all this fun stuff. Clean up the camera lens there. Let's see if I can set this up to do time lapse, linear. Yep, linear and video. Time lapse. There we go. Time lapse. This may or may not fall off the tire due to vibrations. We'll see what happens here. All right. All right, this one. Same kind of thing. We're just going to run a line right down there. And actually, I am gonna scribe a line real quick. Why not? We have the technology to do that. Getting all fancy up in here. Let's see here. Somewhere right around there. There we go. It does need to be precise. It'll be totally close enough. Close enough for the kind of girls I go out with, at least. we go. So, I guess what I need to do is move the pedal box about where I think it's going to live. Which is right about like so. And then let's see if I have enough room to actually get a foot up in there, right? Because that is why we're doing this. That's the goal here. It's going to work. I think it's going to work. Oh yeah. This is gonna be like driving a Cadillac. Yes. All right. I'm happy with that. I'm super happy with that. See if I can move the pedals over just a little bit more. Boy, it's going to be close to the body out there, but I think that's going to work out just fine. Yep. That's going to work out perfect. That's pretty minimal for what I was expecting. I am going to need to cut down. I'm going to need to cut down this section here, bring that all the way down to the floor. But that is exactly what I was after, guys. Exactly what I was after. Yeah, that is exactly what I was after. Okay, while I'm at it, I gotta try to take this off while we're at it. Clutch line does not need to be there anymore. When it comes to the engine stuff, we're gonna be doing a lot of the mechanicals, changing that over real soon. Come on. Wow, that clip is tight. All right, let's go about this a different way. Need to beat myself up getting a spring clamp off. There we go. That's how it's done on the hood, huh? Okay. Trying not to drip fluid all over the place here. There we go. How convenient is that, huh? And that is why you spend a couple extra dollars on nichrome line instead of the crappy steel line at the hardware store. Bend cables out of the way on your hot rod when you're building it. Oh, I tell you, we're having fun today. That's what we're doing. Okay, holy cow, we're sitting at 1 hour and 5 right now just to cut that little panel out, huh? Anyway, I'm going to hop off live here, keep trimming, keep making some adjustments to that, but you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday afternoon. Great weekend, and I will catch you guys all next trip. Have a good one.